Hi, Sanjeev here. Currently, I see a lot of investors sitting on the fence, waiting for no reason to either buy their first or next investment property. But when we are in our accumulation phase, my philosophy is that any investor should look to buy their investment property, especially when they have enough cash or borrowing capacity. And that's why today I have brought our guest speaker, Dinesh, who is, in spite of what's happening in the current environment, rate of interest is high, and people are a bit scared for no reason, I feel. But this guest speaker is busy buying property. So let's hear what he has to say, and let's get into this episode. Welcome, Dinesh.
Hi, Sanjeev. Hi, viewers.
Now, how are you, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Good, good, good. Now, thanks for joining, and I know so. Um, I think you have a beautiful journey, with and so let's get into the story. Should we start with your background? Where do you live? What do you do?
Sure. I'm Dinesh. I live in Sydney with my wife and two kids, and I'm an IT professional.
Okay, and like when did you came to Australia, Dinesh?
I came in 2015, Sanjeev. So I came to Australia in 2015, and after that, it took some time to settle down. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And how did you get started in property? Like, was it more of a family thing you learned, or it just kicked up? What was?
So, yeah, basically, like after coming to Australia for, after a couple of years after that, then I started thinking about buying a property. But it was always, there was a lot of things which we hear from different sources. And it was always very difficult to make the decision whether it is worth to buy a property or should we still rent. And after some time, I realized that lack of education is the primary reason why we wouldn't think about the properties at all or buying the properties because we lack of education implies lack of strategy and all those things are linked together. So I personally feel that because lack of education, I have delayed my property journey a bit,
Mm.
and I got my first property. So it was basically our family's decision to get into the property market. Yeah,
Okay, so when you say family, it's you and your wife, right?
correct. That's
Yep,
correct.
yep,
Yeah.
yep. So, okay, so you came 2015, and I know you have one property in Sydney where you live, you're owner occupied. So I think that property you guys built it, right?
That's correct. So what happened was we got our land sometime at the end of 2019, and COVID came, and a lot of uncertainty. Builders were not ready to sign the contracts, so we had to wait and juggle and discuss with a lot of guys around. There were a lot of challenges then,
Mm.
and finally we managed to start our building sometime in 2021, so early 2021, and then it took around 1 year to finish the project. So it was not pretty straightforward, but what I've seen was like think that there were ups and downs, and but we were able to manage that. Yeah.
Okay, so finally, so it started back in 2021 early, so in 1 year, so either end of
Yeah.
21 or early
I
22.
think the actual project started at the end of 2021.
Okay.
So even though we have signed the contract, but the actual construction started in 2021 end and it finished in 2022. Yeah.
So was it very stressful for you and your wife, like going through that? And a first property in
Correct.
Australia.
Yeah. So
How?
mainly what I see is like there was a lot of learning,
Mm.
especially when you are building a house. A lot of things we don't know, and a lot of time we need to invest to understand that. So yes, of course, there were ups and downs, but finally it came through well. So we feel that it's worth it because there was a lot of education in there. Yeah.
Okay, I like that how you put it, right? The positive attitude, Dinesh, because I agree with you. Like it's a lot of learning, and personally, in my property journey, that's what I've taken. That hey, challenges. I take it as if challenges will come, and
Yeah,
whatever come, I get excited because I'm going to learn out of it, rather than it deterring me or from taking action. Because I know during COVID, a lot of people got stuck, and it's not easy. It is stressful, right? But we can either look at hey, it's too much. Let's not touch property world, or okay, what happened, and that's why now you just completed, and now you're going. You just bought your investment property and now looking to buy another one, right? So, but a lot of people would have said, "Oh, I've gone through a long journey. I want to take a pause." But so now I like that attitude of hey, I learned so much. So now
yeah.
even though it was the first one, and so do you want to talk about like you came to 2015 and then you got into like pretty much you bought in 19, I think you mentioned you bought the land, right? So in 4 years time. But during that time, were you thinking or you settling down in Australia? Because as a migrant, I know we come with a bag of clothes, uh,
Yeah.
and that's it, right? No money. So did you come with a permanent residency or
That's correct. Yeah,
okay,
I come as a permanent resident. Yeah,
okay, so then
yeah. So basically, what I felt was like one. I mean, when I think from the standpoint of this particular time, and if I think back and see, so most of, uh, I mean, especially the decision why it was delayed to get invested in the property was due to lack of education, right? So that is something I always feel that it is always better to explore things and try to talk, and if needed take an expert guidance wherever it is needed, because otherwise we can't move from that particular point. So that is what I personally feel. Yeah.
okay. And that's why, like, once after you build your house, then you say, okay, let's go it. So, say you completed. So, when did you move to your Sydney property?
So last year December, actually. Yeah.
Okay, last year, back in
So
okay,
it's
so
it's almost a
2022.
year now. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. So this one, of course, we are recording in October. So okay, so it's been so. So you build the house, you moved in, and then what happened? Like you like looking for investment property immediately, or what's going in life?
Yeah, so I always wanted to invest in the property, especially because it has a lot of potential in terms of getting my equity built up.
Hmm.
So I thought that this is one of the right ways to invest in. One of the right ways, right? It is not the way, but it is one of the ways. The thing is, like, since it gives constant income over a period of time, it builds up growth for yourself, and it has its own advantages. So that's where I thought I should get into the property investment soon than rather. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, see, it is one of the best I feel, because even though it's not the only one, because you have the kind of leverage you can get it, right? Like, say, you buy a 500K property, all you put is 20% deposit or even less,
True. True.
and you're leveraging 400 or 400 plus, and playing with 500, $500,000, while your capital is only 20% or so. So yeah, I think it's it's
Absolutely.
it's the best. And plus, yeah, it's we all know the benefits of buying properties and not the best benefit of this asset class. So um awesome. So then you settled, and then no, of course you wanted to buy, and that's why you got into the market. And so now you have got your owner occupied property and the investment property, you
And the
just bought
investment
it, right?
property. Yes,
So
that's correct. Yeah.
now I see a lot of people having a lot of fear right now because rate of interest has gone up, right? It's pretty much more than 6%, right? So was there any dilemmas or fear in your mind with the volatility, right? Like a lot happening in the world. So did you had any doubt from that angle, any fear kind of thing? And if it was there, how did you overcome them? If it was there, right? It may not be.
Yeah. So I have been like, it was true that there was a lot of economic uncertainty since last few years. But I always believe in one thing, right? So ups and downs are common.
Mm.
and over time things settle. So it actually sets by itself. So it's a matter of time, and especially if you are talking about the investment property, or a property, or the investment in any of this real estate stuff. So it is a long term game. It is not something which we play for short term. So in the long term, everything settles by itself, and it doesn't matter how the economic condition is currently. But the things, I think, I personally feel that we should move on and try to invest in whenever it is possible, and whenever you are ready. We should not sit on the fence, simply waiting for better things to happen, so that things will settle by itself. Anyways, yeah. So we have been looking at this pattern for quite a few years, right? So
Yeah, yeah. It's been forever, right? Like,
yeah,
since, so now I agree. And property is always about long term, right? Because a lot of people think, oh, I can buy and sell after 2 years, 3 years. No, it's not like that. I mean,
yeah,
worse, because we have to sell, it's a different story.
yeah.
But it's always a long term. And if you look at long term, so now I agree with and I think that that's your philosophy, right? So now tell me about the first property you built in Sydney for yourself. What it is?
So I got a land in Sydney, and then after that, I built my own house on that. It's a owner occupied property. So so the journey, if you take the journey, it was broken into two pieces, right? One is getting the land, and after that, building a house on it. So buying a land was a pretty straightforward process, I would say, but building a house on top of it, it is like a lot of variables changed
Mm.
when I when we discussed initially with the builder, and when the construction actually started, because there were a lot of uncertainties in the supply chain issues, and the cost has escalated a lot, and we had to manage it when it comes. And there were a lot of challenges around that thing, and uh, even builder had their own challenges in terms of
Mm.
managing their people, basically, like the costs have gone up, they have to pay more for them, and every step was a challenge, especially when it comes to building the house at that point of time. Yeah, so those were mainly the challenges what I felt. Yeah.
And you know what? Now, thanks for sharing that, Dinesh. And I want to acknowledge few things here for people listening this podcast, that it's very easy to say, hey, when things are going wrong, I want this. Why things are going wrong? You agreed for this. We can, and that's what happens not only in the construction, but even when the property is managed, arguing with the property manager or something, rather than we should work with them closely and also try to understand their issue. I know in the current market, to get some quotes, even to repair some of the maintenance items, you can't expect property managers to say, hey, can you give me a three quote? Most of the time, traders are not even willing to go and give you a quote. They're busy. There's shortage of labor, right? Um, and understanding what they're going through. So rather than you want to work with them as a team, one team, because understand they're also there to help you out, right? But and I think looks like that's what you have done, and that's what happens. Like when I know a lot of successful developers, it is closely working, understanding them, hey, what you're going through, what is your pain point, right? And understanding and working as one team, right? Because at the end of the day, if the construction is not happening, you're not winning, right? So I think, and that's where I think, yeah, now I like that attitude, and that's what is required as a true investor. Like otherwise, things will. I mean, it's one thing I can guarantee. Like after building this a decent portfolio, that one thing is guaranteed: something goes wrong, right? And how you. So what is more important is how you deal with them, right? And work as a team. So now I think, and that's where I think I feel like no wonder after having those up and downs, and I'm sure you're putting it very politely, but I'm sure you'd have a good roller coaster, especially first time. I know Sydney property, they're not cheap, right? We're talking about $1 million plus. So but then you're acknowledging working, and that's where I believe now I can understand why taking action for you is easier, because you understand, and at the same time I feel like you're clear that, hey, property investing is the way to go and I need to do it. And then I think a lack of education, that's where maybe you, and of course you build your own house by yourself, but for your first investment property, you know, our client, you chose an investor's dream. But I think now I understand why you did that, right? So
Yeah,
um, now, what is your philosophy of buying, like, you know, investment properties? Like, of course, your how is your first invest property? Is it what sort of it is? Do you want to talk about it a little bit?
yeah, sure. So my first investment property, I discussed with you basically. So I have had a lot of criteria in my mind, and basically what I look at for any investment property is it a good location, and is the property worth to what I'm paying for, and is it yielding me good rental yield, and is it a stable location where where there are better prospects around, and is it a good property, and what sort of built it was like, is it a because nowadays building a house is a very expensive affair, and we certainly look at whether it is a good build. um, so those are the primary factors I usually factor in
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, you know,
choosing a
demand,
property.
supply is the important bit. All
Yeah,
those things, right? I mean, you know,
correct. Yeah,
it's a huge list to go through. But yeah, as you know, a high level location, and you know, of course, I would say, okay, cool. And now, so, but of course, it is a house with a decent land. You know, you're
yeah,
not after an apartment or townhouses, correct?
that's correct. That's absolutely
So
right.
so
So yeah,
that's out. So, you know, anyone looking, you know, as an investor, just forget about buying a apartment or townhouses. Just focus on houses in established areas. I think that's the way to go. And you know, the true investors will know all the good reasons. Now, did you had, like, you bought your property interstate, right? Initially, did you had any fears buying interstate because you live in Sydney? You know, definitely you bought the property sight unseen, you know,
yeah.
through virtual and all. So how
So
was that?
yeah, that's where the actual guidance actually helps, right? So definitely we can have no. There was no fear as such because I'm doing it in the right channel,
Mm,
and I always believe that if you are doing it through the right channel, and if you have built the right knowledge on that particular thing, you can easily know that whether it is a worth the investment or not. Since a lot of research has been done by you as well, like in the background, that actually helps to someone to figure out whether it is a worth an investment or not. So definitely, it was very systematic, and it was very step by step process. So there is no chance of getting fear about anything at all, because you know that you are getting a good property. Yeah,
yeah. Okay. Okay. So the whole system made you um yeah, okay. And then, of course, you know, we all have fear, right? Which is common as a human being.
yeah,
If,
yeah,
especially if you're doing first time, you know,
yeah,
it's not your fifth property or something like that, right? It's your first one. So I'm sure we all get that fear, right? But okay, so but when you have the process system in place that
yeah.
overcomes your fear, and you know, your
That's
comfort,
correct.
and yeah, okay. So now, tell me how it feels like, you know, to have the first investment property interstate. You've settled, you've got your tenant. So how it feels for you right now?
We are really happy with that. Me and my wife are really happy with it because it was tenanted out pretty quickly as well, and the property manager was great, and so everything is pretty smooth. So especially, I wanted to highlight to the viewers that the process was pretty seamless, right? The kind of um, process we have gone through when we were building the house compared to this, it's nothing actually. Like it's just uh, it was all systematic. We know what we are doing, and we know what we wanted. So things were pretty clear upfront, and it was taken care really well by your team. So I appreciate all your efforts in that, and definitely it was a very good decision what we have made, especially in this current market. Yeah,
How's your wife feeling about all
yeah,
this? Like you build, you
she's
know.
really happy about it.
Okay, okay,
Actually,
okay.
yeah, yeah,
So now I like that you both are on the same page. You do it together, and that is also very important because again, property is not a long. It's not just a long term on the wealth creation, but as a family also you have to be on the same page, right?
yeah.
So you're aligned from day one because I see a lot of people say, "Hey, I make all the decision," or it could be he or her, right? But it's hey, it is a joint decision. It's for the family. Do it together. It's like it's not for me or you, and that's where it is the way to like do it together, right? So I think yeah, again, I like that you both are on the same page, and
Sure.
so good. Um, now, um, what are the three tips you'd give to other investors who are either fearful or simply looking to start their journey?
Okay. Well, so I believe that the property investment is a long-term game. So I would say that don't worry about temporary ups and downs. Think long-term and strategize yourself. Make familiar yourself with the information out there. Try to understand how the whole process works. And I would say that it is, if you are the first time investor, take expert guidance so that making mistakes will not be there. You won't make any major mistakes, and you will get a good property which could yield some good value to you in long term. And there are a lot of moving parts which we don't understand when you are getting in first into the market. It is always someone needs to guide you through so that it goes through smoothly is what I feel. And the same thing I've done as well. And the third tip would be act quickly. Don't wait. So, there is no point in waiting, right? If you are looking to invest long term, I don't see a reason why you should wait, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, no, no, I agree with you, Dinesh. No, thank you, buddy. Now I know you have already looking for your third property.
Yeah.
So what's your plan for the next and future next
Yeah,
couple of years? What's your plan?
definitely. Like, so as I said, and I've already signed up for another property with you. So I'll be working with you for that pretty soon. And so that's my plan for this year. Yeah.
So okay, so you settled on last year one, your owner occupied, and this year two properties.
Yeah.
And so, what's in the next coming years? So what is your long term goal on your?
Long-term goal is to slowly build up the portfolio as we go, and we revisit, re-strategize, and prioritize where it is needed. But we have to move forward as we go. Yeah. So that's what I'm
Yep, yep, good.
looking forward to it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. At the same time, we have to enjoy life, and not just
Exactly. Exactly.
do
Of course.
everything.
Yeah.
There's so many other priorities we have. So now I think I know you're doing so good at personal level as well. You have different buckets, and know you do that. So that is good. Um, Now, one thing I just wanted to ask, like say when you look back your last 8 years, right? Like in Australia, if you had to restart this again, right? Like if you can go back in time, what one or two things you would have changed or did on the same journey? If you get the chance, right? We can't go back in time, but
Correct.
someone listening, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
No, definitely, Sanjeev. So if I would have restarted the whole thing, I would have definitely invested it from my day one. Actually, I would say that as soon as you have got your savings, So we don't have to think about it. Just invest in a good property and build your portfolio based on your appetite. So there is no we can start small and we can grow actually. So I would say that I would have done that for sure, definitely. Even if you buy a property in Sydney or not, it doesn't matter. But start investing it, start doing the investment. But the other thing, what I would have done was definitely I would have taken some good guidance as well. It's not like getting into it and learn from there. It is always, back and forth process where you would not gain much. So instead of doing that, always try to contact a mature buyer's agent or someone who can help you through the process, who can definitely, put you in the right direction where you can start everything in a right way, which can yield benefits for long term. You won't buy a property now and sell it in the next 1 or 2 years, right? You just keep it together. I mean, you just keep it with you for a very long time. So it's always better to take guidance, act quickly, and invest. So yeah, that's what
Great.
I'd probably do. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. No, thank you, Dinesh. Now, last one. Any final words for investors looking to invest in current market?
Uh, yeah, I've already told my tips and everything, what I personally feel, but I'm just reiterating. Don't sit on the fence and wait for something to happen. If you want to invest in property, invest it. So we don't have to wait for good things, good times to come, or we can't change the external circumstances, but we can always try to re-strategize and think about ourselves what we exactly wanted and just move forward with your small goals. Yeah,
Correct, correct. I think I like that. Yeah, I think just plan, act, and external factor we can't change. We can't do
we can't
anything about
change.
it. It's
Yeah,
not in our control, but we can make our goals and act towards it, right? And
absolutely.
execute it. I think execution is everything. So now, awesome, Dinesh. Now, thank you so much for your time and sharing. I'm sure a lot of people would learn a lot of stuff from this small episode we have, and it's a good chat. And yeah, so thanks
It's
again.
my
And
pleasure, Sanjeev. Thank you for having me.
no, yeah, I think yeah. Otherwise, yeah, we'll speak soon, buddy. Have a good day. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Hope you enjoyed and learned something new from this episode. Please don't forget to review our podcast and tune in every Tuesday 8 a.m. Sydney time to listen to all our inspirational guests and learn from their property journey. In case you're looking for help with your property investment journey or building a property portfolio, please visit our website www.investorsdream.com.au to learn more about us and our services. And feel free to book a call from our website for a friendly chat. Have an awesome life and happy property investing.